What is up, guys? It's your girl here, the one that started it all, and hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Uh, Puneet, Puneet Chaudary has requested, they are not a stranger to, requesting films. They had requested that I watch a movie called Lage Raho Munna Bhai, which is roughly translated to "Keep Going, Mana Bhai." I know I butchered that name. I know I butchered it. I am so sorry, guys. I know I butchered it. I have said it time and time again. I am not familiar with, you know, Indian dialects. I've been told there's so many different dialects, so it will be pronounced one way in one dialect and pronounced another way in another dialect. Regardless of the matter, I'm sorry if I butchered it, guys. I try. But, alright, so Pernette had requested that I watch this movie. And to be all honest, this movie was okay. Alright, I'll give it a 6. This movie was okay. There were moments that were funny. There were moments that were really funny. And others, it's just, he was like, okay, I see where you were going with, but it's alright. So basically, this movie is about a street smart kind of gangster, kind of like a hoodlum. Well, not really a hoodlum, but he's a smart talker. He's a smart talker. He knows how to get his way around, which a lot of his smart talking does help out a lot, but it also gets him in trouble too. So basically, this movie is about our main character, Munna, Munna. So Munna is a, smart talking, street guy, He's a gangster, and he's got this friend, Circuit. Now, like I said, he's very smart talking, knows his way around stuff. One particular, as the story goes, he is in love with this disc jockey, this talk show host. And, she is very, passionate about Gandhi's ways, And she does a contest. And the prize is an interview with her. And, is an interview with her, but, there's like, you had to say what Gandhi was, something like that, and the prize was to have an interview with her. Basically, wanting to meet her, thinking that this is a shot to meet her, he recruits his friend Circuit, and they kidnap and bribe a group of professors that know a lot about Gandhi, and teach him who he was, his ways, and so forth. He manages to win the prize, and he gets an interview with her, and she basically asks him, Janvi is the disc jockey's name, and asks him, what is Gandhi, and he tells her, from things like the basics, and goes like, I lived with his morality and his principles, trying to sweet talk, or trying to make it seem like, he knows stuff like that. And then he lets it slip that he is a professor of Gandhi, of the Gandhi way. And she's impressed. And when the interview is over, she asks him, hey, and he invites him to a second chance inn, which is a senior community living home, or where the senior community lives, and wants him to do a lecture there. Seeing that he has to continue this illusion, he goes to the library and has 5 days to study everything about Gandhi. And like Ratatouille, he has Gandhi appear to him as a conscience, and whenever he's in a situation, he can call upon him to have advice and so forth. And this continues throughout the movie, and so he goes to the lecture, and, it's very sloppy, but it's able to get the senior people, you know, to believe him, like, oh wow, this guy, and he helps out with the solutions and talks to him advice to help him out. So there's this guy named Lucky who, Circuit, and where Circuit and our hero has worked with a couple times, sees this place, sees what he's doing, you know, and it looks like he's trying to help them. And he goes, hey, why don't you, and seeing that he's in love with, Janvi, goes, hey, why don't you guys go, I think it was Goy, Goa, Geo, why don't you go to this place and you guys can continue this, facade there and so forth. Turns out it was a ruse for them to go so he could have that place, because he's trying to have an alliance with this dude, because his daughter is in love with the I don't know how to pronounce his name, and I'm going to butcher it. I know it starts with a K, because this dude, we'll call him K, because K is very superstitious. Very superstitious, using numerology, and has his astrologer, basically advise him what deals are good, what deals are not. Basically, he is very superstitious, and so superstitious to a point where he almost does not allow his daughter and his son Sonny, Lucky's daughter and his son Sonny, to go together, because on account of the astrologer says she is of Mars. So she's of Mars, she can't do that. He goes, oh, it's a mistake. It's a mistake, it's a mistake, it's fine. They can marry. And with that, the allegiance is progressing, because he's trying to use everything to make it seem like, oh, we're good, we have money, we'll just marry him off. That way he's able to be with him and job deals and so forth. Seeing that, our heroes, seeing that they had been had, they go use the radio talk show host and they tell, what has happened. And with that, it becomes popular, and they end up helping people out with solutions in the way of Ghandi and so forth. It becomes very successful, and it puts pressure on Lucky, like, okay, this deal has to work, let's get them married, they have, a taxi driver calling and telling what's going on. And then they try to get the house back in a nonviolent, protest, but things get out of control. And our boy and his boy, Circuit and Mono, Muna let's call him M. M gets arrested, and Janvi goes to bail him out. Seeing that that's not working, they start to use the talk show host, and then, M spills the beans to her through like a love letter, and she reads it, and she is crushed to find out he lied. So she leaves, and seeing that he's on his own with the talk show host, he continues on with it. And the day of the wedding, the girl finds out the ruse, finds out that this marriage is not for her, but for her father, and she goes to escape. And, she calls on the show, give me some advice, because she happens to go in the same taxi where the guy, the taxi driver, called in the show earlier. Vincent, I believe his name is. I believe his name, was it Vincent? I believe it was Vincent. And so, she ends up being taken to the radio show host, because he goes, oh, I know someone cool who could help you out. And they tell her, go back and tell what's going on. She tells the truth that she is of Mars. And, all hell breaks loose. And Sonny's like, hell no. I love this girl. I don't give a rat's ass about your superstitions. You go deal with your superstitions. I'm going to marry her, blah, blah, blah. Your superstition to numerology is ridiculous. I'm not going to have it, blah, blah, blah. And, Lucky comes clean, and the house comes back. Because the house comes back, and then, M sees that, okay, let me try to do the right thing. Let me take this advice that I've been given and go from there. So him and Circuit go and hold the radio show hostage, which reminded me a lot of this movie called Airheads. And says that he saw her, that he loves her, and, They end up getting arrested because, of course, although they meant no harm, they still taking the place of hostages. It is against the law, so they get arrested and they get bailed out again by Genvi. And basically everyone has a happy ending. According to the ghost of Gandhi, he goes, "Don't worry, everyone else gets worked out." Circuit gets adopted by these senior people because they liked his mannerism. Sunny and the Lucky's daughter, get married. Janvi and them get married. And now, all of a sudden, Circuit, excuse me, goes to the same library that M went to learn more about Gandhi. And he starts seeing. And not only that, for some odd reason, he calls him M, growing up. Because the funny part, whenever he needs advice, he would sing this song that, people of Gandhi would play tribute to Gandhi with. And he sometimes will call him father. I guess it was just weird because he is the father of wisdom. But yeah, I'll give this movie a 6 because, like I said, some parts were funny. Like when they think that to get her back, they have to hold the radio station hostage. Not really the best way to go for it, but I mean, it is what it is. I mean, he's a thug. He's a street thug. What can you do? I mean, oh God. I mean, like I said, I'll give it a 6. I'll give it a 6. To be fair, it was okay. It was all right. Nothing too crazy. Nothing. It was all right. Typical. Like the way it reminded me of was One Crazy Summer, which was an old 80s American film back in the day that starred Demi Moore and John Cusack. Yeah, I hear there's a sequel with it, or within that area of it, and honestly, nah, I won't watch that one. MBB Muna MBB or MMB. I won't watch the sequel. It didn't grab me much, but it was okay. I'll give it a 6. Pernette, sorry that I'm not a big fan of this movie. I'll give it a 6. Like I said, some parts were funny and other parts is just like, okay, I see what you're going for, but yeah, it doesn't grab me. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I've seen movies so many times where they lie about it and then the ruse has to, they, have to continue the illusion, and then eventually the charade's over. Yeah, but, it was alright. I liked it. It was okay. It was alright. Something new to watch. Some parts were funny, and I was like, yeah, it was alright. But, Pernette, thank you so much. Yeah, it was an okay movie. It was okay. But other than that, thank you again. Thank you for watching. This is my opinion of this movie. I'll give it a 6. That's going to be it for me today. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and be safe out there. Okay, guys?